Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to My Story, God's Glory first podcast. Well, the first episode of the My Story, God's Glory podcast. I am so glad to be here. And yeah, I'm a little early. It's supposed to start at 11, but hey, I'm getting a little sleepy. So I decided, hey, why not go on and put this on, okay? So I'm doing it. And you'll be able to catch this on Stitcher, on Spotify, and all those lovely places. But I wanted to come on My Story, God's Glory podcast. It's all about sharing stories of folks who have, um, season one is really all about people who have experienced some private pain and are now experiencing some powerful promises of God. And I believe that the scripture that talks about, I believe it's a Revelation that talks about, um, and they overcame them by the blood of the Lamb and the word of their testimony. I believe our testimonies actually put us in a place of victory. And and when you share your testimony, your story, that it actually helps somebody else. And I know that's been the case for me. I made a decision. So I'm gonna just kind of tell my story for the first episode, and then you'll hear from a lot of wonderful people, just ordinary folk, who have experienced some private pains, but are really experiencing the glory of God in their lives and the blessing and understanding how to live. Um, and one of the things that I wanted to share was on September 5th, 2020, 2020, what is 2021? Can't say it right. But anyway, I made a decision that on that day, I was going to tell my story of dealing with an autoimmune disease called hidradenitis suppurativa, commonly known as HS. And I call it a very disrespectful disease. And it's just one of the worst things ever, in my opinion. And I know a lot of people deal with autoimmune diseases, and things just happen, and one day you're okay, and the next day you're not. And I know that that's not a way to live, and so I have been on this journey. I decided to tell my story and start my journey to healing, because at one point in my life, it really, I really just wanted to be free. I didn't want the pain anymore. I didn't want the ugliness of it. Um, I didn't like being immobile. I hated how it made me feel mentally. Um, it was just a lot. I hated how it limited my life and how it affected my relationships. And I didn't like becoming dependent on other people. And I have the most wonderful family. Like, that is the best blessing after salvation of Jesus Christ and receiving that. I have to say, being born to Raymond and Sally Lee, and to have Matthew, Mark, and Karen as my siblings, to have my beautiful sister in laws, my children, my nieces, and my nephews. I just have the best family, and I have some of the greatest friends in the world. And who stepped in to really help me out for a couple of years. And I'd been dealing with this for a while. And if you HS is similar to what Job was dealing with. And they also call it Job syndrome. And it started really just, I would have issues and flare-ups, but it just really, really got worse at the end of 2019, bleeding over into 2020, and it just really got worse. And I would have months that I'd be okay, early part of 2019, and then it just middle of 2019 I was okay, and then it came back, and then it just started getting progressively worse. And that was really, really hard. as a woman who's been independent, a woman who loves to work, a woman who loves to go out and have a good time, go out to eat to work with my friends, hang out with my friends, go to movies, go walking, exercise here and there. I was never just, at one point, I was an avid exerciser. Um, but this disease started just bothering me so much I couldn't even exercise, I couldn't go walking. And then there was a point where I was just in the bed, couldn't do anything, and my daughter had to wait on me. And I'm thankful that she was living here with me. And God always knows why He has things happen. And of course, she can always stay with me the rest of her life if she wants to. But I really appreciate it. But it's the effect that it has on your family too, because she was close with me. And it was hard for her to see her mom, who was always active, who was, I moved like a boss, if I must say so myself. And that's not braggadocious or anything, but that's just me being grateful that God had always elevated me and in my career. And but then when I couldn't even do that, I couldn't work. Even if I wanted to work, I couldn't work. So I had to start my own business. And, I've been doing that for a good year now. Coming up next month, it'll be a full year. I always did things on the side though, um, but I tell you, it's been something. And the mental toil and the mental weight was so heavy. And there were just nights I just couldn't rest. I just couldn't. I mean, it's hard to sleep. It was just complete torture consistently. And I just would cry. And and I remember the pain being so bad one night, I just wanted to die. I did not want to live with this pain. I was like, God, I can't do this anymore. As much as I want to stay here, I cannot deal with this pain. And I got tired of going to doctors. Just got tired. I had three, I think I had three surgeries, and I just got tired. And when you get tired, you just like it's just all gone, right? And then, because I would actually get mad at God sometimes. I'd be like, now, Lord, have I not done this? Like I literally did the Job thing. Like I ain't done nothing, I ain't sin. but it was just really hard, and I really wanted to die. So I'm grateful though that during that time and that moment, that night, that yet there was another part of me crying out, saying, "You gotta live. There's more for you, and there's more in you. There's more for you to do. You remember your dreams? Remember your dreams?" And I'm so glad that I listened to that voice, which I believe is the Holy Spirit, telling me that you got to live. You have to live. You have to do this. You have to. Because I always had big dreams and stuff like that. I was always doing some. But what I can tell you, when I made the decision, I was like, okay, I'm going to beat it. I didn't know how. I just was saying it, and I remember telling my sweet, sweet sister in love, Leslie, I said, sis, I just think that if I share my story, I'll be healed. Like it'll help somebody, but more than that, I think it'll help me. I can't tell you the level of shame. I don't know why shame this thing. I don't know why I felt guilty. I don't know. It was just such a different kind of weight that I'd never ever experienced in my life. And I felt so heavy. I felt so ashamed. And I think part of it was because I was no longer able to take care of myself financially. My family was taking care of me. And that was hard for me. I've always been a giver. And so when I couldn't do what I used to do, it just was hard. It was so hard. I remember my last few days at work when my job ended, our funding ended, and I remember one of the directors at the library where our offices were. Um, I remember her um, catching me, meeting me in the hallway, and she said, "Renee, what is wrong?" She said, "I see you trying to get in and out of your car, and it's really hard for you. Please forgive that noise. This is my computer." But and it was always so hard to describe to people what I was going through and what I was feeling. It was so hard to describe it. And so nobody ever understands. And I remember, even when I said I was going to do this, it's so crazy how God works. I mean, I don't know if it's crazy, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean when I say crazy. It's incredible. I should say how He works. I said, I'm gonna tell my story. I made up my mind. I'm gonna tell my story. I'm gonna live. I'm gonna do everything I want to do because I wanted to take Sing Sister Sing Entertainment and Media Group. I wanted to just keep doing shows. I wanted to live. I remember, I learned how to function for a while. I really did learn how to just function with it, just move slow. Like if I gotta walk slow, I gotta walk slow. And hopefully folks won't notice I'm walking slow. And that kind of thing. My brother Mark would always help me, let me hold on to him. My sister let me hold on to her. And I felt so, I can't even tell you the mental toil it was on that was, the thoughts that ran through my head, y'all. And didn't have no insurance, so I couldn't see a therapist, right? So I called on Jesus. But the truth of the matter is, and I wish I had a therapist. Honestly, I think they're so needed, and I think that anybody who's dealing with anything, if you have the insurance and can afford a therapist, you should get one. But I will say that so I made a decision to live. I made a decision that what, I'm going to do this because I know the enemy wants to take me out more than I wanted to get out. He wanted to take me out because God had something for me to do. And little did I know that He would birth so many things from my pain. And I say now that God knows how to pay you for your pain. And meaning He will give you dreams and ideas. He'll start unfolding stuff that you never thought. I don't, with Sing Sister Sing, I loved it so much. And I knew, we were building a business around this thing, a family business, right? And as part of our family business, rather. And so I I was telling my sister, I'm gonna tell my story, and I'm gonna call it Sister Story because I believe every sister out there has a story. So, and I believe brothers have a story too. Who knows? We might come up with brother story. I don't know. We might. But what I will say is that, you know, I just didn't know it was going to turn out to be what it is becoming. And I'm so thankful that, we are always becoming. We're always where we should be anyway. We should never be complacent where we are and be satisfied. You can be content, but I think that growth should always happen in our lives. And I tell you that there were things that God spoke to me during my time when I was down, like when I couldn't really do anything. And I started, so when I made the decision to live, I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna go all in on this then, you know. So I started my business. I worked hard at it, trying to get clients, and then I just started writing down everything I wanted to do. I created 2 children's books in 2020. I was super, super excited about that. I was able to honor my parents with those books. They were in the book. My niece Breezy's in the book. Hey, Helen. That's what I call her as her nickname. But anyway, yeah. So I just started doing stuff, man. And then I created. Well, I actually did this college book thing, ebook before. Well, while I was kind of sick, but I was still okay, pretty mobile, the middle of July of last year, I mean of 2019. But I just got to writing and working. And I just said, you know what, I'm going to do everything that's in my heart to do. I'm going to start writing everything down that I want to do. And so I have this list in my journal. And then I started writing other things that God put in my heart to do. And then there was Sister Story. And I said, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to tell my story. And then after that, I thought it was going to be a podcast first, but it actually was a YouTube channel first. And so my story, God's Glory, is a spinoff of Sister Story. So catch us every Monday right here on Facebook or our YouTube channel, Sister Story Sessions. Make sure you subscribe and follow us. And if you're a sister, you can join our private Facebook group as well. But so and so here it is. God says, you know, just tell your story. And and I'm telling you, it was spiritual warfare at one point, because I knew I was fighting for my life. I really was. And it's just so much that I share with my mom and my sister and my daughter about the spiritual warfare aspect of it, and how the Lord showed me that it was a spirit of infirmity, and He had me call it out. And I tell you, I started calling out that spirit, and how the Lord like healing was coming, and you know, and I'm so much better than I was. I'm so much better than I was. And I just thank God for that. That when you start getting in the word, because God just had me be still, and He just started showing me stuff and giving me things, and unfolding His word to me, even. I mean, just His word was just coming alive. It was coming alive, and that word, and it wasn't that I was just, looking up healing scriptures or anything. I wanted to know God more so that I could know me more. I wanted to know, God, if you're in me, which I know you are, but I need to know all that you are, all of who you are. And so I think that's always going to be a journey till I get to glory, right? Till we all get to glory, so we can see Him as He really is, right? And but to become aware of who I am in Him has changed everything from my life. It's like just put me on a whole different trajectory. Like I don't I'm telling you, it's like it's a newness, it's an awareness, it's a level of confidence. It's the shame is gone, the guilt is gone, like everything that the enemy that comes with that spirit of infirmity, and that spirit of depression, and that spirit of being unloved and being unworthy. I'm telling you, it lifted. It took months, but it lifted. And the more I shared, the more I kept doing with God. Every time He gave me something to do, I'd ask when do you want it done? Work it out. I was like just really just so intentional, so deliberate in seeking Him diligently. Like I was seeking Him diligently, not for stuff, but to know Him. Like I wanted to know Him in a whole nother way that I've never known Him. I wanted to experience the power of God in my life in the way I'd never known Him. I wanted something different. I didn't want the regular stuff that happened in church. Like this was so personal and so private. It was personal. Like I had to know Him. Like I wanted, when I tell you that there's a place in God where you truly rest. Because I remember I told my sister Karen, I was like, I just hear the Lord keep telling me to rest. And I don't know what that means. I was frustrated at first, because when you, like I said, when you're on the go and always doing, you love working, you love what you're doing, you love helping people. And then all of a sudden your life stops because you can't do anything. Like, where's the person that I was? Where is she? And all of the time, like my girlfriend Tori says this, she said, he's making you new. She gone. And that was so powerful when she said those words to me. And Karen said, you're gonna find out what he means by that. And really I'm coming to understand that there's a place of rest in God, that everything that you're I don't even know how to describe it. It's so peaceful. You know that peace that passes all understanding that the scripture speaks of? I think I found it. I think I found it. I think I finally understand what that means. I think I finally experienced it. Like, there's so many scriptures we know and we quote frequently. Um, but man, I I'm telling you, there's a deeper place, and I ain't deep, I ain't never been deep. But there is a place that God will expose more of who he is to you. He will share his heart with you, and he'll show you just how much he loves you. And if he has to, and I'm not saying that he's sitting me down, but he may have just said, have you considered my servant Nay? Have you considered Nay Nay? He may just be saying to you, if you're going through something that seems so intolerable, he may just have said to the enemy, have you considered my servant, you, such and such, whatever your name is? Can God consider you? Can God consider you? And listen, because I think Job wanted to get out of here too at one point. But here's the thing, God will show you who he is. And pretty soon you're going to be like, Lord, just look, I'm so sorry. You are so magnificent. You are so awesome. You are so great. Like there is no, I mean, you just can't compare anything to the creator. He is the beginning, you know? You said, when did time start? In the beginning, God. That's when time started. When God said, you know? So it's been an amazing journey, and I'm still on it, and I'm so grateful that it's a process. I'm telling you, there's so much I am having pleasure in the process. I am experiencing pleasure because I'm walking with God. And I know for certain, without doubt, I am so confident and I'm so assured that I am walking in the will of God for my life and I've never felt this level of confidence before. I've never felt this level of love before. I've never felt this level of peace before. Nothing moves me because I'm moved only by God. Nothing shakes me, and I'm not saying that things that happen around us, and of course I've lost loved ones. I lost my dear uncle Richard. I've lost my other uncles, in 2021, and that was hard, and my Uncle David, these men were almost like father figures for me too. My dad is a great dad, but you know how your uncles, because you're just a close family, they're like your daddy too. They can straighten you out, and so yeah, I'm moved by that and I'm hurt by that when that happens. But I can tell you, hey, Sharon Chambers. Oh wow, yeah, yeah, wow. Bless your heart. Yeah, it's something to deal with those emotions. But when I say it doesn't, I'm only moved by God. I'm so assured that He is in control and that He knows what He's doing. And when you are experiencing so many things, especially in your body or just like I said, intolerable situations, you got to really know that God is in control. And here's the thing, you don't have I felt like my faith was failing. I felt like I wasn't saved enough because when this was attacking my body so heavily, when it just got progressively worse, I was like, my faith ain't working. Am I not, saved? But the truth of the matter is I was just being considered. Isn't that something? I was just being considered. So I just want to tell you, you might just be the one being considered because somebody's watching your life. Sharon, somebody's watching your life as you go through what you're dealing with. And here's the thing, God says, you know, I believe that the process brings us closer to Him. And in this, there's a surrenderance that happens. There's a surrendering of that's completely different from than when you just when I sing I surrender all now, it's completely different. It's in a whole nother way because I understand the faithfulness of God in a whole nother way. You know, He's so real, He's so loving, and there's nothing, it had nothing to do with my faith. He wanted to take me to another place of faith, but it had nothing to do with my illness, had nothing to do with that. The losses that we've experienced in our family has nothing to do with our faith. God is sovereign, and we got to honor His sovereignty. We got to honor His sovereignty, and He loves us so much. If I could tell you anything to pray, it would be pray that God opens your eyes to the love He has for you. It's so vast you could never comprehend it, but I'm telling you, you can feel it in a whole nother way. It's like you just know. Like I literally close my eyes sometimes and just get in the arms of God, and I just rest there. I just rest there. I just rest there. And I'm telling you, when you get in that place, there's so much He reveals to you, man. Oh my God, there's so much He reveals to you. And thank you, Chandra. Chandra, I'm sorry. Thank you so much, hon. But there's so much He reveals to us, and He loves us so much. So I don't know what your story is, but whatever it is, God is using it to bless somebody. He's using it to bless your life and bless somebody else's life. And it's okay that we ask Him questions. It's okay. I mean, this is the great thing about God. He can handle whatever we bring to Him, like literally. He said, whosoever will can come. Whosoever will. And when you come to Him, you come in with all that stuff. You come in with your disappointment. You come in with the hurt that you're not like you used to be. I came with my pain. I came with, God, I don't like being here. I don't like not moving. I don't like not being able to walking around and go exercise. I don't like this. I don't like not making money. I don't like this. I don't like that it's affecting my finances. I don't like this. I do not like this. You can come to Him with what you don't like, with what's going on. He already knows. So let it out. And the best person to let it out to is God. Because I clap for Claude, He understands. He truly understands. And he wants to care for us. Oh my God, He's such a loving, good God. And there's nothing He wouldn't do for us. But I'm telling you, there's a place I believe He wants us all to get to. And I'm so glad that I had this opportunity to be still, because I know me and God knows me too. I would have been moving and shaking, doing things. There were things that I was glad I was a part of that God told me to let go. I would have never let go because I wouldn't have been still enough to hear Him. So I'm not saying that again that He put this disease on me, but what I am saying, He did say, "Have you considered my servant, Renee?" And I'm glad that He's taking me to another place, because you better understand something. Restoration will come. Restoration will come. Healing will come. It may not come like you think and what did you want it to look like, but I'm telling you, He knows. He'll give you a whole different desire and then give you that desire. And so I'm grateful, because I have so many good days now. So many good days. All because I decided to share my story. All because I said, God, and I told Leslie, my sister-in-law, I said, I just believe I'll help somebody. And you know what? When I made a post about it, my nephew Carlos tagged his friend, and his friend, she inboxed me, and then we got on the phone and had a conversation, and she just talked, because it was so hard to. She said it's so hard to explain this disease to people, and I was like, I know, right? I had girlfriends I tried to explain it to. didn't really understand. And I remember dealing with it when I was on a trip for a girlfriend's birthday. I tell you, I did not want, I wanted, my heart wanted to go on the trip and I really wanted to go, but I didn't want to have to deal with the uncomfortableness and the pain. But I knew how to just go through it and deal with it and cry, go in the bathroom later and cry and do what I had to do, you know? But I'm so grateful that he's given me some good days. And I'm thankful for that, right? And I believe God will give you good days. I still believe in healing. I believe that God can, and I trust Him for it. But while I'm on the journey to it, hey, I thank Him for unfolding and exposing Himself to me. I don't know if exposing is the word, but just opening up. He's showing me more of who He is, I guess, because I'm opening my heart to see who He really is. Like, to know God in a different way, in a more revealing way. And so that's my story. Yeah. And He's doing so many great things. And I just thank Him for everything else that He's doing. And that's right, Sharon. No one gets it until they get it. You're right. You're right. And the truth of the matter is, we don't wish. I know you don't wish anything on anybody else, because it's so hard. We wouldn't wish the pain that we've experienced on anybody. Like I would say my worst enemy, and I don't know who that is necessarily, but I wouldn't wish what I was going through and what I was feeling on anybody. Like I just wouldn't wish it on anybody at all. It was too much, wanting to die. It was just too much. And all the nights that I cried and days that I cried and just looking out the window, like laying in the bed, God win, God win, God win. And it is really hard. I feel you, sis. I do. But know that God is with you and God is for you. And he just loves us so much. And that's the beauty, at the end of the day, it's like I get to rest in Him. And I had a flare up a couple of weeks ago. I hadn't had one in about 6 weeks, so I had been super happy, right? And it took me all the way down. And there was one day I got up to like braid my hair, trying to be a beautician, y'all, or a cosmetologist, trying to braid my hair, child, because I can sometimes. But let me tell you, I got up to just go because I was going to sit in the bed to try to do it, and my energy just left because it takes all your energy. And anybody knows who deals with autoimmune diseases, it happens. Your energy just go, and you ain't got nothing to give, and all you can do is lay in the bed, and get you some water and go. Hopefully you have somebody to wait on you, but when you don't, it is what it is. So it can be very, very hard. So I understand it, having that flare up, and after not having it for about 6 weeks, it hit me so in a different way. But I'm coming back around, and I'm so grateful. And so I just thank God for all that He's doing. Hey, Tammy B. Oh, bless your heart, hon. And all of it. Yeah. Yes. Yes. Yes, sis. Um, but again, we have a loving Father who's always there for us, who's always present for us. He is our present help. And hold on to that. Just hold on. Ask God to reveal Himself more to you. And know that you're not alone. And I promise you, Sharon, and I promise you, Tammy, and I promise you, Chandrea, and anybody else who's listening and who will listen to this, I'm praying for you. When I tell you I'm praying for you, I pray for people I don't know. And I pray for people who all over the world who are dealing with diseases, who are dealing with loss, who are dealing with grief, and just in unbelievable circumstances, intolerable, painful situations. I'm praying for you. I'm praying that God will give you peace, that He'll take you to a whole nother level of peace in Him. And I just believe that for you. I believe that victory is yours, and that you'll see it soon, and that you'll see it suddenly, just out of nowhere. So I am going to leave now, but just thank you so much. Thank you, Sharon and Chandrea and Tammy B. I just appreciate y'all for coming on and for everybody else who's listening. Um, but this is why I decided to live, because God told me there was more. And if more is screaming out of you, I don't care how hard the disease was screaming over my body, and the spirit of infirmity was just it was total torment. And I'm so glad God revealed that to me so that I could pray against the spirit of infirmity. So I pray for those now who are dealing with things in their bodies, any autoimmune disease, any intolerable situations in your life, that spirit of infirmity will leave you, the spirit of dysfunction, the spirit of distraction, the spirit of disturbance, that God frees you, that God builds puts a protection around you, his fence of protection, his love around you. Yeah. I just believe that God will do that for you, that he is your shield, he is your fortress. So rest in him, abide under the shadow of his wings and his in the Almighty. Just go and be covered by him, be protected by him. When we allow God to protect us, he can protect us like no other. I'm telling you, the enemy doesn't want you to live. The enemy wants you to give up, because you know why? There's so much more in you. There's so much sharing that you have to share. And I'm glad Erica was able to help you. I was with her when I remember going to doctor's appointments with her a couple of times when she was going through MS. And so, yeah, I'm so glad she helped you out a lot. But God is with us. So encourage another sister, encourage another brother. And I'm going to be bringing you stories like mine that just speak to where we are, to what has happened, our private pain, because people don't always see your private pain. Again, for a long time, I could just gloss over, I can like just endure the pain and just, people wouldn't even know I was in pain. And that's a good thing, because I didn't want nobody thinking, I didn't want nobody to know. I tried to hide it as much as I could. And so when you look normal on the outside and people don't understand, because you look normal, look like nothing's wrong with you. That's the craziness about some diseases. You look fine, and when you're not a lazy person, that stuff kind of bothers you. And that's the thing. I didn't want people to think I was lazy. And when my family, of course, they knew I wasn't lazy, but I'm a go getter, always have been, and but I'm grateful that that God is just turning. He's turning it around for me. He's turning around for me, around for me, around for me. It's turning around for me, around for me, around for me. It's turning around for me. And I believe it's turning around for you too. Listen, I love y'all. I pray that you decide to live, because there's so much life ahead of you. There's so much more God wants to do through you and through your story. So I pray that you be strong in the Lord and the power of his might. He's got you. He won't let you go, and he'll forever be with you. Join me next Friday night, 11 o'clock, maybe 10:30. Listen, the goal is 11, but if we get on here a little early, just chime on in. God bless you so much. Check us out at sister-story.com. Yeah. Love you too, Sharon. Yeah, Tammy B. Yes. Oh, love you too, girl. Yeah. Oh, bless you. Bless you so much. Praying for you, Tammy B. Here. Praying for your daughter. God knows. God knows. I love you, girls. I love y'all so much. And thank you, Bibbs, my partner from college. Thank you. Such an amazing supporter and friend. Thank you so much, man. God bless you all. I love you so much. Y'all take care now. Bye bye.